All right. So, great question. Student of Hawkins was reading Power versus Force, the post-hypnotic suggestions, trapped in a dream state, and hidden viruses. Um, this is this is a brilliant question, and I think teachers until Hawkins were not allowed to sort of reveal Buddha and Christ weren't, I don't think at that time, with the level of consciousness of humanity, allowed to reveal too much of the secrets of what is trapping humanity. All that Buddha and Christ said was the same thing. Um, have compassion because humanity is ignorant. Humanity hasn't got a clue what it's doing. And Christ says, forgive them for they know not what they do. Man hasn't got a single clue where he's going and what he's choosing and what he's doing. And Buddha said the same thing. And uh, as Hawkins said, with the calibration of humanity going above 200, um, certain things are allowed to be revealed to humanity. They have the privilege for information they've earned. I think in this thing, which people won't like hearing, you have to earn your privileges. Humanity as a whole has earned the privilege of revealing more of the hidden secrets, which Hawkins was chosen as the latest avatar with the muscle test to reveal a little bit more. I would say there's still so much he couldn't reveal, and he's not allowed to reveal, and I'm not allowed to reveal. Um, of But you can get it through a muscle tester if you have permission for it to be revealed to you. Is uh, the wolf in sheep's clothing. Humanity is actually engulfed in negativity. 75% to 85% of the world calibrate negative. And just a few people that are positive are counterweighting the enormous negativity of the world. There's something which was very, and I'm looking at it, is very concerning. Before Hawkins' death, the level of consciousness of humanity was falling down from 207 to 205. And it was going downhill. And the roots of this were two things. One was atheism. Atheism is starting to dominate the whole world, and of course you can see the shunning of God and religion. And that has actually, I mean, it's in the process of this is the first video I get to talk about it. I'm in review of recommending 12-step fellowships now as the destruction of spiritual principles for atheistic ideas and more of an atheistic culture, and destruction of the very foundations upon which it's found means that it's you know uh, I think checking fellowships and individual meetings on a case-by-case basis, but I don't think the trajectory is good. Like eventually a lot of fellowships and meetings will go below integrity. Um, so I'm no longer endorsing 12-step fellowships, even though I think some of the fellowships are still probably integrous and some meetings are still integrous. I think there is a forces at play degrading those fellowships and the truth within them. Um, anyway, God bless the 12-step fellowships. Um, and okay, what have we got? Post-hypnotic suggestions. Yes. So these I mean, I'm a hypnotherapist, and you can give post-hypnotic suggestions. It's basically you're hypnotizing, programming people. Even when you talk to people, you're programmed. You're watching social media, adverts, you're getting programmed. In fact, adverts are pretty good at putting in suggestions through both verbal statements and also through various creating emotions as well. So you're getting programmed both with language and through other means. So um, I used to work in the stock market, and I was interested in using hypnosis and NLP for um, what are it, manipulative ends. Yeah, how do you get people to buy something and influence them? I mean, there was no integrity necessarily. I mean, you could do it integriously, but you didn't have to. I don't think some of the companies I were in put a high emphasis on integrity, more like just selling. But anyway, that was in my addiction days, and don't recommend that though. The karma you get is not nice. And okay, so yes, these yeah, I don't like. I mean, it's actually, if you think about it, a lot of the TV, a lot of your friends, a lot of the newspapers, a lot of the TV programs, probably most of them, most of TV, um, even your friends are being programmed, and they're programming you with, rhetoric. Like, yeah, we don't use God here. Um, that's we are it's not politically correct, so we use the word, we just don't use it any longer. And in fact, we promote therapy, the idea of, we'd rather read some therapy literature in this place. And it's all about people helping people using willpower and intellectually understanding stuff. That's the source to salvation of your soul. So all of this stuff, and so these programs get in. Actually, um, here's the thing, and I was trying to cryptically talk about it with Motown music, but as soon as you go into put on TV programs, listen to certain music, like Motown music, um, you're watching, meeting even friends and family. They can be programmed with these hypnotic suggestions. And then they start programming you with the same hypnotic suggestions they've been programmed. And these are coming out of invisible, it's actually quite dark, invisible fields. You see, these fields, someone was actually did a bit of research scientifically into the anaphysitic beat. And these are invisible. You can't, even if you have white noise, you can't hear them. These fields are reversing you and are making you easily hypnotizable with negative influences. And these energies can actually start to dominate, and if you go low enough, can overtake you. I myself, as an addict at near death, were having insane thoughts in my head, like doctors were saying, "Don't eat bananas." Basically, you get a heart attack, and I would go out immediately and eat bananas. The voice in my head told me to do exactly what the doctors told me not to do. So literally, basically, the voice was trying to help me to commit suicide. These thoughts were coming in, so I was being run by them. So you get dominated by these energy fields. So you want to extract yourself and keep yourself aligned with positive fields. Hence, I recommend positive music like Alleluia to Robert Gask's Calibration at the level of enlightenment, Dr. Hawkins' work and books and videos at the level of enlightenment. These fields are like, if you like, are you're being helped by the angels, and you're getting inspiration from higher realms. Whereas if you're taking drugs, listening to some rap music and some Motown music, even music you think is good, and that's the thing of the Luciferic. So post-hypnotic, more dangerous than the satanic is the Luciferic energies. They you can sort of, I mean, if you've got gangster rap music, you kind of know it's good, but do you know that Motown music is not good for you? So that's what we call the wolf in sheep's clothing. It's Lucifer. You think he's good, but actually he's destroying the very fabric of your spiritual connection. So, and in fact, this is much more insidious in the world. Um, Anti-spiritual talk, um, atheistic indoctrination of children, which is another thing that these energy fields do. And yeah, so hypnotic rhetoric, um, destroying anything that represents truth. God as the absolute, as the absolute source of all truth and love. Let's forget that. No, the ego is the narcissistic ego, and its intellect is the dominant force. So we worship the ego and narcissism. We forget God. So all of this stuff is post-hypnotically thing. And the luciferic fields are very destructive. They take over politicians, spiritual leaders. So you have once high spiritual teachers recommending sex orgies and having 97 Rolls Royces. So there's spiritual teachers are reversed as soon as they're taken over by these energy fields, and they're run like puppets. And politicians also. There's dark stories of what the politicians, some of them are up to. But yes, so yeah, it's like these invisible energy fields are alive, and in a way, you could say they are. They're running people like puppets, and they hypnotize people. I think I mean these are like obvious stories, but it's happening to today's culture, like Hitler. The whole country was hypnotized by Hitler and the rhetoric of the Nazi Party. They all worshipped him and said, Sieg Heil, he's our savior. A whole country easily, and this happens still today, is taken over by rhetoric and these hypnotic commands. And these negative energy fields dominate whole cultures to their destruction. So I think as a spiritual teacher myself, I mean, it's what I say. Stick to Hawkins' work. I don't actually recommend any other spiritual teacher, living spiritual teacher, apart from Hawkins. And I put my soul behind Hawkins that he died integriously before God. But I don't recommend any other living spiritual teacher. He puts in calibrations of everything that is positive and negative to protect your spiritual connection. Because you can, I mean, if you're an addict, if you lose your spiritual connection because you're listening to Motown and then you suddenly take drugs and then you're dead. I mean, this is a matter of life and death. You don't know it. Oh, well, I was listening to some Motown and then I had some drugs. I hadn't got a clue what happened. And now I'm in the hospital dying. So, and you don't know because it's invisible. And these negative fields are actually dominating yeah, I don't want to get too negative, but a lot of the political, spiritual organizations are being destroyed. As politicians fall from grace, as spiritual leaders fall from grace, the very fabric of truth that's underpinning society and the positive influences of the higher fields, as Hawkins said, I think in Power versus Force, either you're a servant of the light of heaven, or you're being automatically these darker fields that are below non-integrity are hypnotizing you, running you, and even taking you over once you get low enough, and running you like a puppet to destroy the very fabric of truth in society. Okay, so I'll stop there. God.